Welcome everyone to Chasing Tents. My name is Abhi. Thank you very much for joining me everyone. In this quick and short video, we'll be talking about the Yamaha R7. Now, I don't normally make videos after a company has released some press information about a upcoming bike, but I normally make race and track videos as well. But I thought, let's make a video on this bike because the name of the bike really bothered me, with all due respect. It's the Yamaha R7. Now, a lot of people know that the R7, code name OG-R7 749cc amazing special edition superbike which we had, was an absolute beast. Now Yamaha have decided to name this new bike, which is based purely on the MT07, the R7. Let's go through some specs and some general information about this Yamaha MT07, I should say, in wolf clothing. So Yamaha R7, and let's talk about it in more detail. So like I cheekily mentioned earlier, the bike is based on the MT07 platform. Now the similar kind of engine has been used in the Tenere 700, the XSR 700, Tracer 7. So the engine is pretty much the same. The power and torque figures are the same. The difference is the bodywork, obviously it's different, and also they've done some work on the exhaust and there is a new ECU. So in terms of the engine, the 270-degree crank is quite spriteful. However, on the other side, the power is still the same. So you still get the 72 brake horsepower at 8,750 RPM and 67 Newton meters of peak torque at 6,500 RPM. Now, the bike has some racy upgrades. So like I mentioned earlier, the bike's got a new ECU. The bike also has some updated new air intake ducts. It's a Euro 5 compliant bike. It's got shorter second gear for some low down power. Now the fuel injection has been revised as well. Now for more responsive and smooth ride, there have been some changes to the ECU fuel mapping too. Okay, let's talk about some tech. So the bike comes with assisted slipper clutch which prevents rear wheel locking, which is pretty common. However, the assist in this really pulls the clutch pack together under load, and lighter springs in the clutch system lead to 33% lighter clutch feel to the lever. Now one thing which has bothered me, that there is no Quickshifter or auto blipper as standard. There is an upgrade accessory of a Quickshifter, but still there is no blipper. So I would say in 2021, especially if you are trying to compete with similar kind of twin cylinder bikes, especially the Aprilia 660 RS, I really think an up and down blipper would have gone a long way. Okay, let's talk about suspension. This is something I like quite a lot because they've used upside down KYB forks in the front, which are fully adjustable, and the rear shock is fully adjustable as well. So 41 millimeters in the front, one side is for compression and the other side is for rebound. The rear shock as well is adjustable. You've got preload on one side, you've got rebound on the other side. The head angle is steep and also is very racy. Wheelbase of the bike is 5 millimeters shorter compared to the MT07, so it should be more nimble in the corners. Okay, let's talk about brakes. So brakes are radially mounted 4-pot calipers, so they provide more rigidity, more consistency and immediate braking. Master cylinder has also been upgraded. It's a Brembo master cylinder, which is also a radial master cylinder, and this should give better dynamic braking with better fluid management as well. Okay, let's talk about ergonomics. Ergonomics is something I like quite a lot because they've given a lot of flexibility when it comes to clip-ons, a sporty seat, footrest. Everything can be changed and configured depending on the rider's style, and you can change a lot of things depending on how you like to ride, either you're on the racetrack or on the road. Now because of these flexible ergonomics, the bike is quite roomy and it really gives you a lot of flexibility. On the other side, the tank cover has support for legs for more racier tuck, and also you get really good support while leaning with your legs. Okay, let's talk about the fairings because they have been upgraded clearly. Fairings are quite sporty, but on the other side, they are quite narrow. The engine's narrow. They say that the fairings are even narrower than their 125cc bike and also their 300cc bike. So that will give an absolute brilliant tuck, and also it'll be very streamlined and it'll give you more top end speed just because of the aerodynamic nature. Okay, let's talk about the weight. The weight of this bike is 188 kilos compared to 184 kilos, which is the MT07. So 4 kilos heavier than the MT07. I really think that's mainly because of the Euro 5 exhaust and the extra fairings and all sorts. But you know, at the end of the day, if you change the exhaust and stuff like that, you can save those 4 kilos pretty easily. So we won't go into the weight too much because I think weight also depends on a lot of other things yourself, first of all. And you know, in terms of how much other things you've got which are kind of add-ons, and how many things you can actually take off the bike or put lighter wheels and all these things. So weight is subjective, but it plays a big role on a bike like this which has just over 70 horsepower. So weight is key. Now the dash currently which they are showing in their press release has a shift light indicator and a quick shifter indicator as well. Electronics, I haven't mentioned any. I don't know anything about electronics because they haven't really released any information. They've really kept a very simple recipe when it came to MT07. So there were no fancy electronics like, I don't know, traction control, lean sensitive, ABS, and also, I mean, the bike does have ABS, but that's about it. They've really kept it simple. So I really think even with this bike, they're going to keep things simple, but there is no information. There is a new ECU, but no added electronics have been mentioned on the press release. Okay, let's talk about comparison because this is very important. I really think Yamaha is going all in with this bike to win some mini super twin championships. So I think we should compare this bike to only the Aprilia 660 mainly, RS 660. Now other bikes like the Honda CBR 650R or the Ninja 650, I mean, yes, you can compare it to them, but they are, I mean, on one side you've got the Honda, which is the 20 kilos heavier. The Kawasaki is also 193 kilos, but it makes less power. So I really think the main competitor for this bike, especially from the Racey promos you are seeing, is the Aprilia RS 660. Now Aprilia RS 660, and me being an Aprilia owner, I'm a little bit biased, but on the other side, I think if you see factually, Aprilia have made a bike which is ground up to be a proper thoroughbred track and race bike, and also a very spirited road bike as well. So it's got all sorts of electronics. Yes, it's a little more than £10,000, so a little bit pricey, but it has a lot of things to offer. It's not, I mean, with this R7, it's really kind of should I say sheep in wolves clothing? You know, I don't really want to say that because maybe this bike is really good, but I really think we shouldn't be comparing this bike to normal naked bikes. They should be compared to more racier versions. Now, don't compare this to the R6, you know, or any other 600 4-cylinder bikes as well, because this new category of bikes, I've got a feeling a lot of manufacturers are going to start making these little twins which are super rapid, because you can have a lot of fun with this bike, and this is the whole recipe with this bike. You've got to take it light-hearted. There's not much electronics. There's a lot of fun to be had. This bike is a really well-made bike, and it's a very smart bike as well. It's a plug-and-play bike, I should say. So with the Aprilia, for example, you get it and there's 10 different modes and 6 different modes and 5 different modes. With this bike, you start it up, you know, and you're good to go without thinking too much about what mode you want to be on, or what traction control setting, or how's your lean and all that. Don't worry about that. I think this is a fun bike, and hence the name R7, which is a very serious name. This is my only big gremlin with this bike, hence making this video. I think they should have called this, I don't know, MT07R. You know, that would have been great. But anyhow, you know, I'm going to stop complaining about the name too much. But this is going to be a very fun bike, a less serious bike, but you can really have a lot of fun on road and track. So let's see, it's going to get released in October. Prices have not been announced. I think it's going to be around 7,500 to 8,500, which should be with other competitors. Aprilia is a bit more. But I think, yeah, I don't think this bike is going to be any more than £9,000. So we'll see. But anyhow, I hope you did enjoy this different short video. Look after yourself, guys. If you do like to see more of these kind of videos, please do like and subscribe. And do check out my other videos as well if you are new to the channel. Take care.